think it was like a Ninja Turtles game on like the original Game Boy, and then I got a Pokemon game after that. It wasn't my Game Boy, so the first game that I owned that I played a ton of was definitely Pokemon.
I think it was like Mortal Kombat for like the Super Nintendo, not even the N64. It was like a Super Nintendo. My brother and sister and I, we went to the dentist, and like after the trip, we saw this. I think the Super Nintendo at a store or something like that. My dad picked it up for us, and we got a couple games. I think there was a Mario game we got and Mortal Kombat, and so Mortal Kombat was the first one I played.
The first game I ever played, I'm drawing a blank, but it would probably be Looney Tunes Back in Action for the GameCube. Yeah, like the 2000. Like I started playing video games I think when I was like 5 or so, and that game was just like a movie game from Warner Brothers, but that's the earliest memory I have of a video game that I played. So
probably be Spyro on the PlayStation 1. I'm pretty sure that's the first game I played, like I said, when I was getting babysat. I just booted it up, figured I'd give it a go, because my dad's always been avid, always had an Xbox around, always playing Call of Duty, so I was kind of familiar with consoles, and but I hadn't played any because, you know, my dad was a good dad and didn't let his 5-year-old son play Call of Duty, which is understandable. So I would, so definitely Spyro.
It's kind of hard to remember, but I do remember playing like a Godzilla Xbox game when I was like 4 or 5, and just grinding that with my best friend at the time.
It was just, I forget the name of the game, but it's like a marble game, and you go through a maze, and you have to do like, it's not really a maze, it's like more of like obstacle course, and you're a marble, and you like go around. It was on the original Xbox. That's all I remember.
The first one I can remember was Gears of War 2 when I was like 6 or something. I was super young, and I played at my friend's house on his Xbox.
Kirby Dream Land? I'm not sure. Like something on the Nintendo 64 for sure. Like way back.
Ooh, I'd have to go all the way back and say one of the first Spyro games for like the PS1, I think. Back when those first came out. I think it was probably just the first Spyro. That was my first game. I really love that franchise. It's really good.
Okay, actually my first game is like some Finding Nemo game. It's like a little kid's game, but we're just gonna go with my first FPS game that I ever played, and it was called Tom Clancy's Rogue Spear, and it came out in 1999, and it was a game that my dad actually played, and like once I was about like 6 or 7, like we played that game together, so like that's kind of what got me into like playing computer games, like first person shooters.
Ever actually played StarCraft, actually. So it might actually be RuneScape too. It's hard to, like, the first one I always answer with is StarCraft because that's what I played the most. I bought the original StarCraft disc probably like 5 times over the years. I kept asking my mom, I would lose it. I'd say, hey, can we go buy StarCraft again?
World of Warcraft. I was probably 4 years old, and I saw my dad playing it, and he set me up in a high chair next to him, and I played side by side with him when I was 4.
I'm not sure it's the first game, but it's the first game I remember playing a lot, you know. It's the name of it, it's Little Big World or Little Big Adventure. It's not the famous one, the new one, you know. It's an older one. It's a Little Big World, I think. The new one, it's Little Big Adventure. This one, it's the Twins and Odyssey, something like that. It's a game that you have a dragon that gets sick and you need to heal him, and it's like a old RPG. It's amazing. I don't remember it very well, but I love it.
I played Jack and Daxter on the PS2.
There are 2 real computer games. There were 2 real games that I can think of. One was called Zork, which was a text-only adventure game. So, and then there were several Zork sequels. It was like, they're like science fiction type games where you literally have to type in instructions, and then the game will prompt you with some information, and you have to react accordingly. So that was the first game like that I ever remember playing on the computer. And then, you know, not counting an Atari, right? I had an Atari 2600, which had, Pac-Man, Space Invaders, a game called Combat, all the old school Atari games, Defender, well, the original like arcade type games. But the first PC game was Zork, and then they had a similar game like that. When I got my own PC, was a game called Dragon Age, which was similar, where you would type in instructions, you'd get some feedback of information, but that also had images too that you could look at and decipher some information. Zork was only text, no images at all. So
I'm not so sure. It's either like some Formula One racing game or Tarzan for the PC. Not even the full version of Tarzan. It was like the demo that came with free with a copy of a newspaper. I played the hell out of that. That was good. That was also the first game I ever completed, so I was very proud of that.
I think it was Pokemon Fire Red.